Letty, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you today?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good. Did you have a good day?
Yes, I have a good day, but now it's raining, heavy rain, so it was difficult to get to come back to home today.
Funny thing is, it's raining here too.
Oh, really?
I'm not a big fan of rain. Actually, I don't mind it, but just when it happens every day, get a little tired of it.
Yeah, yes. Here it's difficult because it was difficult to come back home after work.
So it makes
It was
driving very difficult, does it?
Yes, it was very difficult. Traffic was very heavy, so I don't mind if it rains, but when it becomes difficult to come back home, I don't like it.
Now, do you drive or do you take transit?
And here, I take the bus because it's traffic is really heavy here in the place where I live.
I also take transit as well. Hello, Alexandra.
Hello again.
Welcome to class.
Thank you.
Are you ready for your dream job?
Oh, so.
Well, we're going to practice some interviews today. What I've done this time in class notes is I pasted information that we learned last class, which was yesterday night at the same time. Things to think about when you go on a job interview, such as, generalizations, don't generalize, talking about your learning experience, the long view. So all of that is in there because what we're going to do is we're actually going to practice job interview questions. Okay, so at the bottom of the class notes, I'm actually going to paste all these job interview questions. So that way you guys can copy these down and use them later. Okay, so Raphael, welcome back.
Hello, Sam.
Hello. Are you excited about today's class?
I think so.
All right. Well, Raphael, let me ask you this. What kind of job would you like to have? What's your dream job?
A job when I feel useful, and I feel really useful when I can show my skills and where I can, uh, when I can do what I want, not exactly what I want, what I study, what I've been studying so far, and what I've been preparing. A job in which I can take the decisions, in which I can.
So remind me, Raphael, what is your career? What are you doing right now?
I'm an electrical engineer.
Electrical engineer. Okay, guys? Remember that, electrical engineer. Okay, so now just imagine that you sent your resume in to us. We're a large architectural firm that it not only designs but also is responsible for building out some of the largest buildings in the world, such as Al Kahif. I know I've said that wrong, but the tallest building in Saudi Arabia. And we're also being contracted to build the tallest building in the world, which will be in China. And you're an electrical engineer, so you sent in your resume. Excuse me, hot water, you need it when you teach. So you sent in your resume, and now we're going to have a little bit of a job interview. Are you ready for that, Raphael?
I'll try.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions, and I know you haven't had too much time to prepare. Okay? So, if Raphael came into an interview, whether it be online or in person, we'd start off like this. Hi, Raphael, how are you today?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. What about
Good,
you?
good. Did you have any problem setting up the conference with us today?
No, no problems. I postponed all my other appointments in order to get in time for this meeting.
Well, we appreciate that. We heard a lot about you from our HR consultant, and we have a lot of very high-profile projects which we think you would be ideal for. So we're going to ask you a bunch of questions today. We've already looked at your CV, your resume, and we would like to talk to you, if you don't mind, for a couple of minutes and ask you some questions. Do you have the time?
No problems.
All right, thank you very much. Well, Raphael, let me ask you, what is your greatest strength?
My greatest strength, I think, could be my ability to listen to the others, my patience. I'm a very democratic person. I think I have the ability to understand what everyone's opinions and made a fair judgment about who is best for our group or our team.
Okay, thank you very much. Tell me about a problem you once had with a supervisor or a contractor that had hired you.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Do we have a connection problem? Can you hear me?
Yes, I have. No, I can't hear you, but could you repeat?
Tell me about a problem you had with a previous supervisor.
So about what? Problem?
Yes, can you hear me? Do you not understand the question?
You're asking me if I to tell about a problem I have as a supervisor. Is that what you're asking me?
You know what? Maybe we can reschedule this interview for another time. It seems like we have a bit of a connection problem.
Okay, no problems.
Right. Thank you very much, Raphael.
Thank you.
All right. What happened there, guys? Letty, what happened there in that short little interview we did with Raphael?
I think he couldn't understand what you were asking, so you preferred to not continue interviewing him.
Ah. Now, do you think it was a problem due to a connection, or there was
you don't
noise?
know. You don't know, but maybe you can think that he couldn't understand your question.
Yeah, well, that can happen sometimes. Now, as a busy firm trying to do interviews, if there's a lot of problems and you repeat questions 3 or 4 times, then maybe now is not a good time, and this is probably not the best venue for an interview, right?
Okay.
So here's something as a bit of a takeaway. If you agree to an online interview, whether it be for a school, a job, make sure you have sufficient bandwidth. Make sure you have a good headphone, microphone, and that you can be in a quiet place. More and more companies are starting to use remote interviews, especially when the people that are hiring are located around the world. Okay, excellent. Raphael.
Yes?
What do you think of your answer to the first question when I asked, what is your greatest strength?
I think it was fair enough, in my opinion.
Okay. Did it relate at all to the job that we had talked about?
I think so.
Okay. Well, here's something I heard. I didn't hear anything about your electrical engineering experience or anything in relation to the project. So good that you have the patience and the ability to understand and listen, but you didn't tie that to the job. You weren't specific enough. I have a patience and ability to understand, and a lot of the projects I work on involve, and you could go into detail about the type of things you worked on and how that would directly relate to a large multinational project, such as building a new tower in China, right?
Right.
So it's always good to kind of tie it back. Yes, it's good that you have patience, the ability to understand and listen, but how does that relate? How is that specific, right?
Okay.
All right, who would like to go up next? Who's brave? Thank you, Alexandra. I see you with your hand up.
Oh,
All right, Alexandra, what kind of work do you do?
right now?
Well, you're in class right now, but yes, right now.
Maybe we can, because I'm planning to change my job, yes. Maybe I'd better say who I would like to be.
Okay.
So I would like to be a lawyer.
What kind of lawyer? Family law, corporate lawyer, tort lawyer?
I'm not sure. I think I have to decide, but definitely not a criminal lawyer.
Okay.
Maybe a tax lawyer, maybe a corporate lawyer.
Okay.
Something like this.
Okay, so we're actually hiring we're looking for 6 junior tax lawyers. Okay, so that'll be the scenario. We're looking for 6 junior tax lawyers that are familiar with not only Russian tax law, but American tax law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you ready?
Better corporate, maybe.
Okay. Alexandra, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
You know, in our company, we only hire the best. We only hire people that have very strong skills, have a strong work ethic, get good grades, and are motivated. So let me ask you, what is your greatest strength?
My greatest strength?
Yeah.
I suppose I have got several great strengths, and I think my strengths are definitely, can I say applicable?
Applicable, sure.
Applicable to the position of a lawyer. So, first of all, I'm a very hard-working person, and if it's required, I know that the job of a lawyer requires a lot of time and energy. So if it's needed, I'm ready to work from dawn to dusk. Moreover, I know that a lawyer should have a large scope of things, and I should say that I am a bookworm. I really like to read. I really like to enhance my knowledge, especially if it's connected with my job. So I'm ready for advancement. I'm ready for development. And the third quality is that I like to convince people. I like to make them, I don't know,
Okay, thank you.
open-minded maybe.
What was your job prior, or what is your current job right now? Are you currently a tax lawyer?
No, I'm not.
What is your current job?
My current job is an HR specialist.
Okay, that seems to be completely different from the job you're applying for. I'm a little curious here. How do your experiences from your current job relate to being a tax lawyer, and do you have an education in tax law?
I don't. Wait. You know, when I was 17 years old, because this is the age when people in Russia get higher education, I was not quite sure about my preferences in life. So I was young, and I think at that point I made just the wrong choice. Well, I don't think that it was wrong in general, because any experience in life is useful. But sooner I understood that the job of a lawyer is closer to my it corresponds to my inner qualities, to my preferences.
Alexandra, have you passed the bar?
What do you think? What do you mean?
Okay, so
I was excessive?
well, no. Okay, so to become a lawyer, at least in North America, you have to pass an exam, and they call it passing the bar. Are you a certified lawyer?
Yeah. I know. But this is when you already have like higher education, and then you get an exam. But right now I'm preparing for LSAT. So just right now I'm going to be a student.
Okay. Well, Alexandra, unfortunately, we're only hiring lawyers who have actually had a previous experience with tax law and that have passed the bar.
Yeah, I know. I have a long way to go.
You should have just made it up. Make up the answers. Okay, guys, it's okay to make stuff up because we're trying to practice different responses to questions, okay?
I have to make up things. I thought I should be honest.
Well, yes, but if you're applying for a tax lawyer, which you suggested the job, but you don't have any experience, you don't have any certifications, who's going to hire you?
Right now, I think I will be suitable only for the position of the paralegal.
All right, well, thank you. Come back to us once you've passed the bar.
Okay.
Letty.
Yes.
May I ask what your current job is or career is?
I'm an electrical engineer.
Wonderful.
And I'm working as an IT buyer.
Okay. Well, let's role play a little bit here. I'm going to use the same scenario I did with Raphael, where we're going to talk about this senior electrical engineer position with our company, AJ Architecture and Associates. We've been contracted to build the world's largest tower in Guangdong province in China. Okay? So what I would like to do is imagine you're going for this role. It's a senior position. You're still function as an electrical engineer, but you'll have other electrical engineers report to you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Letty. How are you today?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for joining us here today. I forgot what I was going to say. Thank you for joining us here today. I understand you're applying for the position of senior electrical engineer at our firm.
Yes.
Excellent. Your resume says that you are an electrical engineer currently with a leading firm, correct?
Yes, I'm an electrical engineer. I graduated 4 years ago as an electrical engineer.
Excellent. What are your responsibilities in your current position?
In my current position, I have to manage the buying process. My current duties involves being in contact with different providers to make decisions about what kind of products we are going to buy. I have to be with the final user, which will be using the things I buy. So I have to be in contact not only with the providers but also with the final users, and I have to know to have a good knowledge of the products I have to buy.
Okay, thank you. And just one quick question as a follow-up. What kind of budget have you been working with?
I've been working with different kinds of budget because there are different kinds of users. So we have users that only requires a computer, but there are as I work in a very important telecommunication company.
Letty, I'm not sure that's not exactly what we're looking for. I'm trying to determine the scope of your responsibilities. What is your annual budget that you?
My annual budget. My annual budget, personal, or at the shop. Are you talking about? Yes, about $10 million.
Okay, thank you. So again here, guys, what I'm looking for is an interviewer. Very simple question. I want a very quick and simple answer. So what was your budget? And why would I want to know this? Because I'm trying to determine how much responsibility this candidate has, right? So to know $10 million, that gives me an idea of a level of responsibility that a person has been assigned. All right, Letty, one last question for you. Could you please describe a difficult work situation, maybe it was a project, that you overcame and how?
Yes, there are a lot of difficult situations every day, but there was the one I remember is when I bought a very large amount of computers, and the provider couldn't provide us the computers I bought. It was the computers for the entire company, for the people who work there to use in every day. So it was so we were really in a problem because we were reaching the final part of the year and we didn't have the computer. So I managed to find a new provider who was able I could find a provider and I could negotiate with this new provider. It was a new provider for us, and he could make available all the things we needed.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Letty, for role-playing with me. Right, Sylvia, are you there, Sylvia?
Hello, I am here.
Hi, Sylvia. Where are you from?
I'm from Argentina.
Well, welcome, Sylvia, from Argentina. We're role-playing interview questions. I'm picking some of the most common interview questions asked and wondering if you'd like to role-play with me.
Okay.
May I ask what kind of work you do?
I am a system consultant.
What kind of systems?
Subsystem. You know
what kind of subsystems?
Okay, SAP is an ERP that
ERP?
yeah, an ERP, SAP is an
Okay,
ERP.
SAP, the
for
German company.
Yes,
Okay,
German
perfect.
company.
That's all I
Excuse
need.
me?
I just need to have an idea so we can build um, a scenario that we can use. So you'll be applying for how about a manager for a team of consultants responsible for delivering ERP systems?
Excuse me. I don't understand the question. The
Okay.
first part of the question.
So we're going to be role playing.
Yes.
You're going to be interviewing with me for a management position responsible for managing consultants that will deliver
Okay.
ERP systems.
Okay.
All right, terrific.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Sylvia, for joining us today, taking time out of your busy schedule to meet with us. We've received your resume, and we have some follow-up questions we would like to ask.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you. First question I have is, how do you evaluate success in a project?
Oh, I think that the success in a project is to know that your client is using the system that you are modeling or implemented usefully, and they have the results that they look for when he buy the system.
Can you give us an example of a recent success? And feel free to make anything up if you like, because this is public.
Okay. For instance, if you are implementing the finance modules, you need to solve reporting problems to the manager level in a company. You know that you have success when the manager tell you that nowadays he could reach the reports in time and in a good way.
All right, thank you. Why are you leaving your current job?
Excuse me?
Why are you leaving your current job?
Excuse me, I don't understand.
Okay, I've posted the question. Could you read it, please?
Okay. It doesn't appear. Okay. Where are you living? Why are you leaving your current job? Oh, okay. Because I think that I do all my job in this company. I need new horizons and new problems to solve.
Okay, good answer. So when asking this type of question, you never want to say, well, because you guys are paying me more, right?
Okay.
I'm looking for new challenges. I've worked in every position available. I'm looking to work for a larger company with more responsibility, right? With a more dynamic portfolio, you might say.
Okay.
Right? So always, yeah, you never want to say, because you guys pay more, you're closer to work. You always want to be strategic in your answer. Just like, how do you evaluate success? Right? So when answering that one, you got to think about, what do they want to hear? So your answer should be, when you formulate your answer or create your answer, you should be thinking about the job you're applying for. Okay? A large corporation might place all their emphasis on the bottom line, right?
Okay.
And a nonprofit would measure success in a different way, their social impact. So it's very important to think about and to prepare prior to the interview, understand this company. What are they looking for? what is their strategy? What is their 5-year plan? What do they want to achieve? Because then you can give better answers. Okay?
Okay.
Excellent. Fernando, hello.
Hi, hello. Good night, Simon. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. What is this class about?
Well, as I could see, this is the class that you are practicing to have an interview with another person.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Okay. So what I would like to do is, I'm done with the interviewing. I would actually like you to role play an interview situation with another student.
Okay.
Before I do that, Fernando, what kind of work do you currently do?
Well, I'm a system auditor, an information technology auditor.
Sorry, a systems what?
A system auditor, an IT auditor.
An auditor. For what?
That's right.
Standards?
Really, in general, for the system, that could be an ERP or any kind of servers. It's for the information technology auditor project that I usually I'm involved.
Okay, do me a favor. Could you explain to the class what an auditor is? Just briefly.
Okay, in general, the auditor or
Yeah.
my specific role as an IT auditor.
As an IT auditor.
Okay, in a low level, the IT auditor is in charge to evaluate the system according to the regulation of the companies that you are making the audit project, okay? For example, there are a lot of regulation for each industry, and this regulation mark which are going to be the security settings for the systems that are going to be applied for the industry and the business. So every time that I start an audit project, I try to learn and recollect information about the regulation of the company, and then I validate the security settings of the systems. Could be servers or computers or data centers, these kind of things.
Excellent answer, and a very specific and detailed answer, which is the way interview questions should go. Thank you, Fernando. So again, for those of you who don't work in this type of environment, when you're going to implement a large software system, such as Enterprise Resource Planning or ERP, you might have pages and pages of requirements, things that the buyer wants. And somebody like Fernando, as you're going through the project, will go through and check off to make sure every item has been done. All right, Alexandra.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I thank you for staying awake. Could you please go to the bottom of the Hangout notes, please?
What was that?
Thank you for muting. I sorry, guys. I've got about 20 interview questions. And I would like you to be the interviewer interviewing Fernando for a new job as a senior IT auditor. Being a senior position, this obviously involves some sort of management or management experience. Okay, so what I would like you to do is just spend about 30 seconds with some small talk asking how Fernando is, and then start asking him some questions that you see there. Very popular, these are very common, very popular interview questions.
Uh-huh. So, Mr. Fernando, hello, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, Alexander. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very excited about our interview. We are searching for senior, yeah?
Yeah, senior.
We're searching for a senior, okay. We're searching for a senior IT auditor, we are in great need for this position, and I have prepared several questions for you.
Perfect. I don't have any problem to answer it.
So my first question is, what is your weakest trait of character? What are your weaknesses?
Yeah, let me just interrupt. Usually you might say, what is your biggest weakness?
What is your biggest weakness?
Well, sometimes there is some situation that I think that I'm not the person prepared for the deal that I'm going to be. But after at the time that I start to work with the people, I could understand that I have the knowledge to work together with these people. So I was selected correctly to be in front of this problem. Sometimes I compare with some people and I say, oh, maybe these people has more experience than me, and then I realize that, oh, well, you know, maybe I had more experience because I have a lot of experience with problems, dealing with problems, clients, customers. So sometimes this is the problem that I have. The trust that I have in myself when I'm dealing a new problem that maybe require new knowledge for one specific technology. But after that, I recollect information, I feel comfortable because always when I don't have the information, I try to learn as soon as possible the new technology to apply or the methodology to apply. So I saw this every time as a possibility, not as a problem.
Thank you. Let me just interrupt. So I would say the weakness there is fear, right? So your biggest weakness is fear.
Right.
And a good answer to that would be, whenever I start a major project, there's that initial fear. However, once I sit down and apply our successful process for auditing the specifications, that fear quickly disappears, right? So you can go into that. So talk about how you overcome that fear or that weakness, whatever it is. Thank you. Go ahead. Continue, please, Alexandra.
So my next question is, how would you describe your previous employer?
Well, my previous employer, it was a big company, a global company that permit me to understand how it's working globally. So it was a really good school for me, not only for a process that I could understand. In fact, I had the possibility to work in the United States for the last employer that I had. So it was a really good experience for me.
Yeah, but then if it was a great experience for you and you had, as far as I understood, good relationship with your boss, then why did you decide to change your job?
Well, the idea that the problem that I have, it was that I couldn't grow in the company, so I decided to move forward and search another opportunity outside because I prefer to not wait to the opportunity, and that's why I was looking for a new opportunity outside the company.
Wow, bravo. First of all, Alexandra, excellent follow-up question. Very good. And Fernando, excellent answer. There was an inability to grow in my current company. And then what you could actually go on to say, Fernando, is, which is why I'm so excited over this position, because this is, to me, I see this as my next step. This job gives me, what's a better way of saying this? In this new job, what am I trying to say? 50, 70%. No, you know, I think that's good. I don't want to give too much, overcloud it, but yeah, you want to indicate that, yes, inability to grow, and then talk to this new position why you're excited, because this job gives me the ability to grow further, taking my previous experience, right, as a starting point. Okay, I would like 2 more volunteers. Who else would like to role play?
Simon, just a brief question. Is that okay if we mention negative aspects to answer this question about about our previous company?
Sorry, what?
Is that okay? Is that okay if we mention negative aspects about our previous company to answer this question?
Well, I wouldn't say he was negative. You've got to understand that people leave for a reason, and you've got to be relatively truthful, or people aren't going to believe you. Be careful what you do give out. There's certain information you shouldn't give out, right? But to be able to say that, well, there's the inability for me to grow in my current position, right? That may be true. A lot of times people leave because they can't get further experience. There may be a more senior position at his company, but the person in that position isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So Fernando could stay there, or he can look for a position elsewhere. And to say that, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, 2 volunteers, please. For role-playing, one can be the interviewer, and one can be the interviewee. Whoever gets to volunteer first gets to pick their role. All right, Raphael, you get to be the. You're I can't sleep. It's what happens when you don't get any sleep. Okay, Raphael, thank you, and Letty.
Okay. Who am I going to be?
Yes, I'm here.
You guys decide who's going to be the interviewee and who will be the interviewer.
Okay, ladies first.
I want to be the interviewer. Okay, so I will be the interviewer.
Okay, go ahead. You can see the questions at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, let me see at the bottom of the page. Ah, okay, now I can see it. Okay.
Whenever you guys are ready.
Hi, Rafael. How are you?
Hi, Letty. I'm fine, thank you. What about you?
I'm fine, thank you. Well, let me ask you some questions to know more about you.
Okay.
Tell me something about yourself.
Well, I'm a nice person. I'm a calm person. I think I'm an easygoing. I try to establish an environment of friendship around me, surround everyone. I think my friends don't have complaints about me, and I think I'm a nice person to work with, and not only for work with, but also to be able to hang out.
Okay, thank you. So tell me something. I will ask you about your current job. Could you please describe what do you do in your current job?
Well, I work as an electrical engineer. I'm specialized in electrical inspection. I need to supervise the installation and maintenance of a group of transformers and substations, and I need to. I'm also in charge to supervise the material receiving and supplies. To check if they are meeting the not only the national but also international standards for safety and installation and there are also another tasks I'd like to mention, but it's quite specific. They are quite specific.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you. So tell me, do you want this job? Why do you want to change your current job?
Because I'm trying to change my acting, my area of acting. I love working with automation, and my company doesn't allow me to work with automation. I've been doing several courses in order to increase my knowledge about automation process and industrial networks. That's the area I've been. That's my goal of acting, because that's the area I want to work with. It's a very it's a new area, and I'd like to work with what's new in the market.
All right, thank you. A better way to say that, you don't really want to say, my employer wouldn't let me. That sounds too negative. However, you could say it this way. There are very few opportunities for automation or to work with automation with my current employer. This is an area that I have a lot of experience in, and I'm looking for a company that is eager or that is well experienced with automation. Okay? So it's pretty obvious for us when you say that your current company doesn't have it, but you don't want to say they don't let you do it, because I might say, well, why don't they let you do that, Jose? Is there some, or Raphael, are you not good at automation? Is that why they don't let you? You see? Word choice is very important. Oh, we just lost Sylvia. Amparo, are you there? Okay. All right, who wants to try it out on me? Any volunteers?
Will you?
I'll be the employee. Who wants to be the employer?
I think Alexander
someone have any problem, I could maybe be the employer.
All right, Fernando, go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay. Well, good morning, Simon. How are you today?
Very well, thanks, Fernando. I appreciate this opportunity to speak with you today.
Perfect. You know, I'm checking your resume, and it's totally interesting, your experience. But could you tell me, what are you looking for a change? Why you are applying for this job?
Yes, well, I've been working as a project manager in regional government for the past 10 years, working on projects roughly in size and duration of about $500,000 to $2 million, lasting anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. What I'm looking forward to getting into is a more senior project management role with a larger company dealing with larger, more complex projects. I prefer a challenge, and I look forward to embracing those opportunities.
Perfect. Are you able to travel? Because nowadays we are working in a global project that requires to travel at least 50%.
I don't have any problem with traveling, although what is important to me is that travel is managed and planned, so that as events come up, we can see them in the calendar and we can plan appropriately for them.
Okay, perfect. Could you tell me your vision, maybe in the next 2 years of your professional career?
Well, I'm currently a project manager. I would like to see myself as a program manager. So I'd like to be managing multiple related and unrelated projects with a team of up to 10 project managers. I would love the opportunity to set up a project management office, or to set up a remote project office in another country.
If I ask you about the type of the project that you was involved in, which was you felt comfortable, and in which was not? Maybe that type of industry or a specific project that was really difficult or complicated. Could you describe me this?
Sure. The biggest problem I've had in my history is working on projects where there is no senior management consensus. That could be where the sponsor is not going to be with the company much longer. The sponsor leaves, moves into another position, another sponsor takes over, creates a change in direction. Or the steering committee, which is made up of senior management, is not well vested into the project. They don't really care too much about the project. That makes it very difficult to manage scope. That makes it very difficult to manage the budget and keep the project on time.
Okay, perfect. What are you going to
so I gave him,
your
sorry, let me.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I talked about a problem, but I didn't talk about what I did to rectify the situation or fix it, did I?
No, right?
No. And that's something I should have answered, right?
That's right.
And keep that in mind, guys. Don't just talk about a problem. Talk about what you did to fix it.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead, Fernando.
Well, could you tell us which were the actions to solve this problem that you mentioned?
Well, in the past, I remember a specific project. I can't give the details due to non-disclosure agreement. However, what I can say is I first consulted with my immediate director to find out if there was any hidden agenda that I wasn't aware of. I didn't want to step on feet. Once I got the okay, then I brought all the senior management partners together. We discussed the importance of the project. I reviewed the charter, the purpose for the project, the objectives, how it fit into the corporate strategy. I then reviewed our deliverables, and I asked them if they still agree and see on the need for this project. We made a few changes, some scope changes. They agreed to continue on in their current role. And I asked them, in order to ensure that we stay on schedule and scope, if they'd be willing to meet quarterly to review the deliverables and the project.
Okay, I have one final question, but making about the experience that you mentioned. You mentioned that you made some change, a schedule change. Could you describe me how you present this to the committee of the project about the delay that you have and which are going to be the action to avoid this kind of delay?
Well, it's kind of a broad question. Let me narrow it down a little bit. Change happens all the time. As a project manager, I'm not responsible for the change, nor should I be. What happens is somebody comes with a new requirement. Okay, so that will cost more money, or it might cost less. That will likely increase or decrease the time, and it might change the scope. There might be an inability to get certain materials or products. We purchase them, the supplier can't give them to us by a certain time. So that's schedule impact. So what I do is I document the issue, the change item. I will specify the impact on schedule, scope, and costs. And then I'll provide a list of recommendations. It then goes before a change management committee. I don't make the decision.
Okay, it's obviously about the experience that you mentioned, that you have a lot of experience in project manager. Do you have the certification of the PMI?
I am a certified PMP. You can find me on the PMI org. It's 519512.
Perfect. Well,
thank you. Thank you, Fernando. Would anybody else like a try? Who can be a tough interviewer? Fernando did a great job. Who would like to practice their English and their interviewing skills? We could leave class early if you want.
Can I?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Who's the volunteer?
What do you mean?
No, who's the volunteer for?
Me. You interview me.
Okay, sure, no problem. Let me see.
Be tough. Be tough.
I'll try. Hello, Simon. Hello.
Hello, Raphael. Thanks for taking time to interview me today for this position.
My pleasure. So I see you are looking for this position in the company as a manager. Why? So I give my first question. Why should they hire you?
Well, Raphael, I'm sure I wouldn't be here if you didn't see an opportunity for me in your organization. You can see from my CV that I have over 10 years of experience managing projects both small and medium in size, and lasting as many as 3 years. Most of my projects has finished on time. Those that haven't have been for very good reasons that were managed through change requests. New requirements came from management, and, well, far be it for me to step in their way. We managed those changes properly. I've worked with teams of up to 10 people. I've worked in multinational, or worked on multinational projects. I also have the ability to speak 3 languages. I think these skills alone provide me with, I'm losing it now. See what happens when you make stuff up on the fly? I think that my work experience and my skills make me an ideal candidate for this position.
Okay, and you mentioned a little bit about your subordinates and your team. So how is the relation? How is the relationship with your coworkers?
Well, coworkers change from project to project. We get the right people, the right skills for each project. The biggest risk in starting a new project is how is forming that team. Some people know each other, others don't. There's a certain sense of fear and apprehension. Not everybody always believes in a project. Not everybody likes everybody they work with. So the first thing I set out to do is to build team cohesion. Depending on the length of the project, I may bring in a professional speaker. We will have activities off-site, take a day to get to know each other, work with icebreakers and other tools to help create team cohesion. So then we can start moving into the next phase of the project after we've done the forming and start norming the team.
Okay.
Sorry, let me stop you there. Let me go over to Alexandra now. Alexandra, why don't you ask a few questions?
I was silent because I don't know much about project management, so I can't be straight to the point in my questions. Maybe I would ask you, would you like to be praised in front of your colleagues, or would you prefer to be praised alone so that nobody except for your boss, of course, would hear that?
See, that's a very interesting question. Anyone who has worked as a project manager long enough knows that project managers take all the blame, and when it comes to fame, fortune, and praise, you deliver that back to the team because they're the ones responsible for achieving project success.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right, guys, I want your feedback now because I'm going to do this class again. What works best? Do you think you guys would like to see more role-playing, more examples of questions, or where we take questions and I help give you guys what is considered the best answer?
Well, in my perspective, you give us some accurate examples about some answers that maybe we can apply. In fact, it was helpful for me to catch some ideas that you explained in a short way. It was really good for me.
Okay, well, take a look again in Google Drive in the Hangout notes. This is very important. Don't generalize. Weaker candidates always have a tendency to generalize their experience. And one thing you showed us, Fernando, is that you want to be specific about any given situation. Strong candidates are always specific. Also, draw on your learning experience. Weak candidates have difficulty explaining what they've learned, especially as the interviewer delves deeper, okay? Also, look in the long view. Always tie your experience or the questions back to the corporate strategic plan, where the company is going. It's fine for you to talk about your 5-year plan, but what is your 5-year plan in relation to the corporate 5-year plan?
Mhm.
Focus your interest, okay? Don't worry about pay, benefits, vacation, or any of that sort of stuff. And show your ability to analyze. It's okay to toot your strengths, to say, I did this, I was responsible for this, I achieved this. Because they are looking for you, not somebody else. Okay? Guys, that brings us to the end of another class. I really appreciate you guys choosing me as your teacher for this hour. I will be offering more job interview classes and resume building classes coming up. Watch for them next week.
Okay. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you,
Simon.
guys.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.